You are losing deals because you are not practicing this one thing, and that thing is follow-up. 80% of sales require at least 5 to 12 touches in order to get a deal closed, and 44 to 48% of sales professionals give up after the first contact. Follow-up has allowed me to close hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals, and today we're going to talk about a follow-up process. Thank you for being on the show. My name is Robert Nelsen. I am the sales journeyman. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Today, we're going to talk about the topic of following up. As we said in the intro, most sales require anywhere from 5 to 12 follow-ups. That means that after your sales call or your process of calls ends and a deal does not move forward, it requires you to go back in and touch that client with calls, emails, text, whatever you call it, in order to get a deal closed. Why do people not follow up? To be honest with you, I don't fully understand it, but I have some theories. Okay? And my theory is that following up is gritty. That's where the real grit and grind of sales comes in. But what you have to remember the reality of is that people, whether you're selling B2B or B2C, people have lives. Businesses have processes. There's things that go on a day-to-day basis that you're not aware of and you're never gonna be aware of. If you're selling in the medical field, there could be an emergency that just took place that takes precedent over whatever product or conversation you want to have. If you're selling to businesses, there could have been an executive who just stepped down and now everybody is filling in for that hole in the business. There could be layoffs coming off. There could be fairs coming in. There could be seasons of growth, whatever it is. There's reasons why people lose track. People have lives. Most people are overworked and have too much on their plate already. And now you are coming in and trying to change a process or add something that's going to require them to either remove a process they already have or bring on a new process. And that's a lot of work for a lot of people. And some people, they need to be reminded of the value consistently. Following up, it has been, I will tell you this right now, over word tracks, over training, over courses, follow-up has been a staple in my career. And it's the reason why I've been a top virtual sales rep for the last 4 years. Okay. And in doing B2B, when you start chasing bigger game, and I'm not talking a $5,000 sale, I'm not talking a $10,000 sale, I'm not even talking a $20,000 sale. I'm talking about when you start going after the big game, the $100,000 accounts, you start selling the $1 million homes, you start going after the hefty IULs that are going to pay premiums of thousands of dollars per month. That's when you need to follow up even more. The bigger the game, the bigger the hunt, the more time it's going to take. Okay? You can't just go into a B2B setting and do a mindset reframe and think that that's going to do it. And that's the biggest difference, I think, between a high-ticket sales professional and a B2B sales professional. In high-ticket sales, you have to be great for 30 minutes. You have to have a great word track for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes to get the close, maybe an hour. In B2B sales, you have to be great throughout the entire sales process and good consistently. Because you're not going to be able to script out every single conversation. You're not going to have a perfect word track for everything they're going to throw at you. That comes with time and experience to know what to say. And that's why I think we see in the sales community, everybody wants the perfect word track. They want the perfect series of words. They want NLP. They want to be able to hypnotize their prospects in order to make a deal close. But the reality is, in order to close some deals, you need grit. You need resilience. You need perseverance. You need to be in contact with them over and over again. My other theory is people just don't want to do it. They're too worried about what the person's going to think. Oh my God, I'm going to annoy them. I'm going to drive them crazy. They're not going to like me. Look, you got to sometimes tiptoe over that line of being highly attentive and super annoying. And I have tiptoed it. I have stepped over into super annoying. I have stepped back. I've stepped over. I've stepped back. But the reality is that if you are not following up, you are leaving money on the table. Do you want to leave money on the table? That's the question you have to ask. So how do we follow up in a way that is going to give us more business, not turn us into desperate sounding, creepy sales reps who are just being pushy and just trying to get a deal closed? That's what we'll talk about today. So when following up, there's a couple of things that can happen, right? There's a couple of scenarios that can come into place, right? You're talking to someone, you pitch them a product, they like the product, they need to go get other stakeholders involved because you're not going to get every stakeholder in every single meeting, every single time you do a B2B sale. Forget that. That's never going to happen. But now things have kind of stalled. You set an appointment for the following week or for the end of the week, and they missed it because something happened, and now you've got to reconnect, right? That's one scenario. Another scenario is it really is just not the right time. And you guys, you got to understand, sometimes it's not the right time. Sometimes that's just real, right? Like sometimes it's a busy season and they're in the middle of their busy season and they don't have any time to add on new processes. Times they're not even in season for that, right? When I was a logistics coordinator for one of the biggest pottery distributors in the country, we did most of our freight from January to April, right? And then after that, it was like barely anything. And I would have freight companies call me all the time trying to get in. And the reality was, we just didn't have enough loads to go around for everybody that I would want to add on someone new. It just wasn't time. And the people that were able to wait and stay in touch, they got a shot when the season came on. People who just kept annoying me in the busy season did not get a shot, right? So you do have to recognize that sometimes it is a matter of timing. Okay, especially with bigger opportunities. Timing does play a role. You can't just think that everyone is lying to you all the time. Okay, we gotta develop the relationship. This is an opportunity for us to build. This is an opportunity for us to discover. This is an opportunity for us to learn more. This is an opportunity for us to plug them into our funnel and keep them checking in on them. And there's a couple of ways that you can follow up. Number one is a phone call, right? You can call them. Number two, it's text message. Number three is an email. Number four is very, very tricky, but it's very subtle, but it works, is you can get them into your social media content funnel. What I mean by that is get them to follow your Instagram, get them to connect with you on LinkedIn, add them as a friend on Facebook if you don't say a bunch of politically, not cool things, right? Get them into your, whatever you do, have them follow you on Twitter, ask to follow them. Right? This keeps you in their mind. What I want to be when I am following up is front of mind. That's the danger. People forget you and they move on. And then someone else swoops in who offers the same thing that you offer and they take the sale. They take the sale off of the work that you have done. I have done this to hundreds of my competitors. I love it. I love hearing, hey, yeah, no, we talked with XYZ brand a couple weeks ago. Oh, great. It just makes me giddy because I get to come in off of the work because I know that no one follows up like me. That's just a fact. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a second. I just want to let you know I have a 12-week sales accelerator program. If you are in virtual sales and you are trying to get into the top 5 of your industry, why don't you click the link below? It's right there in the description, right where it says click here for coaching. Set an appointment and we'll see if it's right for you. All right? Like me. Video. That's just a fact. So when we're having our conversations and we're coming to the end and we're coming to a place of follow-up, we always want to make sure we collect certain pieces of data, right? We want to make sure, especially for B2B, that we have their direct line, that our cell phone, even better, right? So that way we can get in contact with them. So if someone is really like, hey, I need to go speak to the stakeholders, I really do need time to really consider this. Again, in B2B sales, that's not necessarily a smokescreen. If you're selling something that's going to cost them $100,000, they're going to have to do some analytics on their end and make sure they have a budget for it. Okay? That's not a weak mindset. That's real. If this is high ticket, if this is life insurance, I would do this. I would be a lot more forceful. I would push past that a little bit with good word tracks and try to get past that. But for B2B sales, especially the bigger the sale you go, the bigger consequence of the product that you're selling, yeah, they're going to need some time to think about it. So when they say, I need to think about this, or we really need to speak with our stakeholders, we need to have our independent meetings, we need to consider the budget, yada, yada, yada. You want to say, hey, Bill, you got you. Definitely you need time to think about it. I'm gonna definitely want to check in with you and just make sure I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Because whenever we're coming up with something new, it's really not possible to handle every single question on one call. Can I have access to your direct line so I'm not bothering any of your other employees to make sure I can speak directly to you? I promise you I won't blow up your phone with phone calls. And normally, honestly, I've never had anyone say no to this. I've never had anyone be like, nah, go through all the channels, go back to my gatekeeper. Most of the time, if people are really considering it, they're going to give you their number. Hey, Bill, just to confirm, I also want to make sure I have your email. I'll probably email you as well. Is that fine? They'll usually say yes. And then what you want to do is you want to follow up generally speaking, depending upon how they answered, at least one time per week. But if they showed real interest, if they've given you the verbal confirmation that, man, they really want to start moving forward in this, there's just things that are blocking them logistically from getting forward, I'm not opposed to calling twice a week or 3 times a week, right? And to preference this too, I'm not expecting to get them on the phone every single day of the week, but I want to get at least one contact with them per week. One contact with them per week, right? That means that I get them on the phone. I might have to call them multiple times because they're not going to answer. I'll probably send them 1 email a week just to check in. And I'm not always emailing, checking in. Sometimes I'm giving them information. Hey, Bill, check out this article that was just written about whatever relevant field that they're in. Hey, Bill, just so you know, we're actually going to be in town this weekend. Just want to come by and see you. Hey, Bill, we have a conference that we're doing. Hey, Bill, I just released this new training on my school community. We'd love to get you in there, right? Something like that, right? Send them something of value. Send them a meme. A meme can also be funny. Hey, here's the meme of the week, yada, 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 right? Once you have them in a contact funnel where you can start contacting them, you can start moving things forward, okay? The 4th thing is if you can get them onto your social media or through their LinkedIn, again, if you're active on there and you're posting on there and you're not posting controversial stuff that's going to turn people off, okay? You're not resharing red pill controversial things or political things or anything of that nature. You keep it very subtle. Again, every time you post and they see it, it just brings you back to the center. I want to bring this person in to nurture them. It's called lead nurturing. I'm going to nurture them. I'm not going to overwhelm them. I was once recently in a DM conversation with someone about a fitness program, and frankly, I legitimately just don't have the time to focus on a fitness program. I've got my own coaching that I'm hiring to do more speaking events. I'm looking to do more webinars. I'm looking to grow my school community. I don't have the ability to commit to a full fitness program and protocol. But once I have everything covered that I'm working on, I would be open. And so in having conversations about this, I was talking with this gentleman, and it was like just the refusal to accept that I'm not lying to him is like torture to him. He's still DMing me, trying to get me into his program. And it's like, brother, read the room, right? You don't want to do that. If you can leave them with value and stop pushing that much, people do come back. You have to understand when prospects are future. And that's where we have to understand the concept of a pipeline. Do you guys know what a pipeline is? Everybody should be familiar with this terminology if you're in sales. A pipeline is a way of organizing the deals that you have on the table and the opportunities that you have and where they are in the journey. It's okay to have a full pipeline. That means you've got things to work on. You've got things to work through. Not everyone is going to close in 30 days. It's just not possible. But you put them on a pipeline, you put them on a lead nurturing system, whether it's through calls, emails, text, content, and you would be surprised at how much value you have. So I always try to leave them with something of value. Another great way to follow up if people aren't getting in touch with you is send them a gift. Send them balloons. I've seen people send balloons. I've seen people send cookies. I've seen people send crumpled up letters, direct mail. That's another great way to get in contact with them. Again, anything that I can do to stay on top of their mind, in their mind, that's what I want to do. So when I follow up, again, it's going to be about 1 call per week, 1 contact per week if we've got a super hot deal. As it starts to fade, if it starts to fade, I kind of switch that down to once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks, once a month if it's possible, right? Email consistently, email maybe once a week, send text. I would be very careful about text. You don't want to text someone to death. You don't want to DM them to death. But if you can bring them into your ecosystem of attention, into your social media, into your LinkedIn, wherever they're active, that can also be super beneficial for you to move them forward. That's how you want to handle it. Following up has led me to so many great opportunities. Sometimes it took 2 years, but I've got the close. So even if I lost that close, my closing ratio isn't just, I lost this deal in 2024, but I won it in 2026. So the closing ratio doesn't even make sense. Like, okay, well, maybe I'm at a 30% close rate, but all the deals that I lost, eventually I get maybe half of them because I just don't give up. And I'm not afraid of looking like an idiot. Everybody wants to look like they're freaking Jeremy Minor and Alex Hormozy, and everybody wants their prospects to qualify to them. I'm sorry. I live in the South. We believe in customer service here. The greatest businesses that have come out of the South have been based around service. Look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A isn't trying to have their customers qualify to them. They're trying to serve them radically. It's a mindset that's just shitty. And frankly, unless you're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, that ain't you, bro. If you're not doing $100,000 a month, then you have no right expecting prospects to qualify to you. You got freaking broccoli-haired 18-year-olds being like, let me check my schedule and see if I can fit you in. Fuck that. That is dumb. That makes no sense whatsoever. I am here for you. I am on your side. I work for you until we get this deal done. And I work for you in perpetuity to make sure that whatever we have put into place will work. And that attitude has won me way more than acting like some douchebag who everybody needs my time, even though I'm a nobody. Like if you're watching, like understand something. Again, until you're doing $100,000 a month, or you have 1 million followers on Instagram, or you have a massive amount of money, you're nobody. People should not be qualifying themselves to you unless you have work for months that is covered and your bills are paid and you're able to make the investments you want. You want to live the lifestyle you want. You work for them. Stop the nonsense. Stop acting like you are so important. That shit gets old and nobody freaking likes it. Okay? It does not work. It will never work in a B2B sale. When I was a logistics coordinator for a major company, while I was selling deals and doing 2 jobs at once, if someone called me and acted like I needed to qualify to them, I would just say, piss off, dude, and hang up the phone, because there's 20 people that want your place. If you are selling in a very competitive environment, that element of service and attentiveness will pay off. And lastly, if you're worried about people thinking poorly of you because you're following up with them, most people, when I follow up with them strongly, they actually appreciate it. Because again, I don't have this douchebag mindset of everyone needs to qualify to me. No, they're thankful because they see it as if I am working for them. I am serving them. It's like when I put myself as if I'm somebody who's on the same side as them, I'm a peer of them, I'm trying to work with them and help them get the thing that they need, they are not going to see you as needy. And even if they don't like you, who cares? Who cares? You don't want to push them away with your follow-up being too much, because it can get kind of like, just leave me alone. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you provide a real value. If you ask the right consequence questions, you know their pains, you know what needs to be solved. You'll be seen as someone who's trying to help, not as someone who's trying to just get a sale, as long as you're not a douchebag, okay? So hope that helps, guys. Again, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pod.